Hey y'all, I'm Stay Hall.
And I'm Wallace Hall.
And together we are the Halls. And this is the Hallway. Once you get married, you will notice that there are things that you start changing about yourself. And that is not a bad thing. You are in a new type of relationship and you're growing and evolving. And so change will come about.
Yes.
And in today's video, Wallace and I are going to talk about 5 things that each of us changed about ourselves once we got married. Now, the funny thing is, we have not discussed those 5 things with each other, so we will be hearing them for the first time with you. So, without any further ado, you didn't know this, but Wallace, you're first.
Oh, I'm first.
Yes.
Okay, we can do that. Number 1 thing that I changed once we became betrothed.
Isn't it betrothed?
Betrothed, I'm sorry, my bad. Once we got together, I learned to become more open-minded about life and more willing to try different things, from food, travel, TV shows, types of movies, and even clothes. For TV shows, the other day, I never thought in my life I had to do a binge-a-thon on watching 60 Days In.
That was so great.
But it turned out to be pretty interesting. So that's number 1 for me.
Well, number 1 for me is I started to learn how to discuss and share my feelings. I was always the type of person that I just kept everything in, never wanted to be a complainer, or I saw sharing my feelings as complaining, which I realized isn't complaining, and it takes such a relief off of me to be able to share my feelings and sometimes vent and discuss it with someone who truly cares, and it made me feel good. Before, I always felt like anytime I would share my feelings, I was burdening someone, and I didn't realize that being in a marriage, that's what we're here for. And Wallace didn't have a problem sharing his feelings with me, and I realized it didn't bother me at all. Like, I loved learning about him, and so I started doing it myself, and I don't hold back anymore. I share my feelings, and not just my feelings about him or our relationship, just anything that's bothering me, any ideas that I have. Even when I'm not feeling well physically, I used to always keep that in and never share. And so now I share those feelings with him, and it's great. And I love that I've made that change.
Yeah, I think that's even a good thing to do in life itself, is just be more open and willing to share your thoughts and ideas about stuff.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, number 2 for you.
Number 2, I learned to put someone else's thoughts and ideas before mine. In other words, it's not always just about me. I've learned when you do things, do things for other people, or you allow other people to have their thoughts and their ideas and to share those, you become a more complete and fulfilled person, because of their thoughts and ideas can really enhance you and make you better when you're helping put them first also, and not be selfish about different things and just trying to make it all about you all the time. But it's best when you can include others. Mm-hmm. And I learned to do that, trying to be more open-minded about those things also.
And you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Well,
I'm a work in progress. I'm sorry.
Well, number 2 for me is major. I stopped feeling like I always had to be in control, and that when I let someone else take the reins, I was letting them walk all over me. That is something that I struggle with. I always felt like I had to be in control of every single situation, every single decision, and that if I let anyone else lead me in a different direction, or maybe even override my decision, I felt like that was a sign of weakness, and I wasn't in control, and I wasn't getting the respect I deserved. But I realized that in a partnership, it's fine. There is no such thing as control. We're a team, and we're working together, and both of our thoughts and ideas are valid, and that I'm not always going to win, for lack of a better word, but as long as we're moving in the right direction, then it's actually a win for both of us. With learning how to release that control. It also helped me release a lot of stress. I didn't realize how hard it was on me feeling like I had to be in control of everything and make every single decision and living every single person's life. It's nice to not feel like you have to do everything. And so that's definitely something that I have changed about myself. I love the fact that we're a team and we collaborate and we discuss and we compromise, and it doesn't make me feel disrespected or walked over. It actually makes me feel even more valued because we do bounce things off of each other. And sometimes, a lot of times, my idea or my way of doing things is something he agrees with and likes. And so I realize that it's okay to have that teamwork, and it doesn't always have to be my way or the highway.
Right.
Am I better at that?
Yeah, you're good at that. You're good at that. And it's strange that that turns out to be my number 3 also.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my number 3 was change my mindset and framework that my way is not the only way. I know as a man, especially as a leader and quote successful man, we don't always like letting someone else lead. But what I found out, it can be the most amazing thing to let someone else lead, plan, set things up, be in charge. Sometimes it's just been amazing to just sit back sometimes and let someone else be in charge and set things up, and you just sit back and enjoy the journey. I found that to be, I don't have to have my fingerprints on everything. And I think that's one of the deals both of us we came together being strong-minded like we are, that we both were willing to step back and let the other one lead sometime, and then then you lead your time. So that became very important, how we defined our roles and how we do stuff in our marriage, how we do stuff in our business, and that's incredible. Yeah,
this is kind of fun revealing as we're doing the video, because just in this whole process, I think we're learning things about each other, because again, this isn't anything that we've discussed before. I mean, not that any of them haven't come up at all, but it's not like we've ever had that hard conversation. I changed this, I changed that. So it's kind of cool revealing it as we're doing the video. I like this. We have to do this more often.
Yes, we do.
Yes. So the number 3 thing that I have changed about myself is my whole thought process as it comes to disagreements and arguments. I realize that every disagreement and argument isn't the end of the world. It doesn't mean, oh my God, what have I done? We don't get along. I also realize that they are not always all that serious, and it's okay not to hold a grudge. I used to struggle with knowing when it was okay to no longer be mad. Like, I felt like if we had a disagreement this morning, then I'm not going to talk to you, at least for the rest of the day. Like, I have to stay mad, because again, with me struggling with control and feeling like, I can't let anyone walk over me, I can't show any weakness, I used to feel like if we had a disagreement or an argument, then I need to stay mad, because if I'm nice to you, if I start talking to you, then you're going to think that I'm okay with whatever you did or said. And I realized that that was such a waste of time. And especially if we're going to continue our marriage and nothing happened and we didn't argue about anything where it was like, okay, we don't need to be together, then what's the point in wasting time continuing to be upset just to prove a point? And so I learned that it's okay to argue, have a disagreement, and then just be done with it and keep it moving. We can still go out to eat. We can still go on that bike ride. We can still do whatever it is. I don't have to say, no, I'm not going, just because we had an argument. And so I have changed that. And again, something that I realized I had wasted so much time in the past, just staying mad for the sake of staying mad, just because I didn't want you to feel like you got over on me. So I have changed that.
I got you.
So now it's your turn for your number 4.
Okay. My number 4, show more empathy and compassion and understanding. What I've learned out is she doesn't always see things the way I see them, because sometimes things may be minor to her and, minor to me rather, and then become major to her. But I found out I have to respect and honor that those things are important to her, and I have to treat them that they're important to me. And I think that's what helps make a healthy marriage or healthy relationship altogether, is when you're showing that compassion and that empathy when someone's going through stuff and you're like, oh, that's nothing. But I can't dismiss that. I have to show more as a man that I'm in tune with you. What's important to you is important to me. What threatens you threatens me. What upsets you upsets me, and vice versa.
Oh, I love that. Mm-hmm. Yes, and you do a good job with that.
Thank you.
Thank you for making that change.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 4 is something that some of you may be like, oh, but I have changed my way of thinking that my children and my blood family has to come first. That I have some loyalty that I have to make sure that I stick by with my children and my blood family. My husband is supposed to come first. And it took me a long time to realize that. And I know maybe you guys have seen on Facebook, sometimes they'll have whose plate should you fix first, your husband's or the kids. And in the past, I have always felt like the way to be a good mother is just to make sure my children always came first. But that's not always the case. Now, in certain situations, when it comes to people on the outside or whatever, of course, I'm always going to be an advocate for my children. I'm always going to make sure that they're getting what they are supposed to get, whether it's in school or sports or whatever. I'm always going to be there to make sure that they're being treated fairly. But it doesn't make me a great mom to override and overlook my husband to take care of my children, or to not do something that my husband wants me to do because somebody else in my family doesn't think that it's the right thing to do. It is very important in a marriage that you put each other first. And the thing is, when you put each other first and you communicate in that way and you show that example, you're actually showing your children how to function and have a good, solid marriage. It was not good for me in my past, for me, especially the mom biologically of 3 sons, to show them the example of a woman being the dominant figure in the household, or, you know, overriding whatever their dad said or whatever. And so I've just realized that I need to put my husband first. We need to put each other first. And when we do that, then we're going to be in the best possible position to serve the others in our family, including our children and other immediate family. And so that is a huge change for me, because I was always taught about this loyalty and blood is thicker than water. And yeah, that might be your husband, but he's not family. And men can come and go, but your children and your parents are forever. But again, that's not really a healthy way of thinking, because once you make this type of commitment, it has to be what you put first. And again, when you do that and you do it correctly, then all the other things will fall into place.
Yeah, like that. My number 5. Number 5, be intentional in my activities to show my love and my appreciation for her. I know we all get busy, but put reminders in your phone, do different things to kind of plan stuff out. Plan, surprise dinners, special dinners, tell her, hey, don't worry about dinner tonight, or don't worry about such and such day. Don't worry about what we're doing this weekend. I got this weekend planned. I already packed your bag. Let's roll out. Got the hotel set up. What we're doing, we're going to take a little ride, do something different. So be willing to plan those things out. Surprise getaways. Sometimes it can be just as simple as just calling to check in throughout the day. It shouldn't be say goodbye in the morning and don't speak again until later in the day or later in the evening when you get back home. It's best to just kind of check in throughout the day to kind of show you, keep that connection going. And, it's just that simple. I just learned to be more intentional in trying to do things and not just sit there and just let go on the same old same, the same mundane things. We just have to be more intentional, surprised, spontaneous, however you want to say it, to show my love and appreciation to her.
Yes, and I definitely can
flowers,
say, yes,
balloons.
that is a huge change that I've noticed, because when Wallace and I first got together, he wasn't a big celebrator of things. Like, he felt like, well, if it's not Christmas, like, what are we doing? Like, it doesn't matter. And I like to celebrate everything. Like, I like to celebrate the fact that I made it through the day. I like to celebrate the fact that I finished reading a book that took me forever to read. I just am like, I want to celebrate. And at first he thought I was nuts. Like, it's not a holiday. What are we celebrating? I'd be like, well, let's get a bottle of champagne. Let's go out to eat, celebrate. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, I finished reading that book, you know. But now he even initiates. Of course, whenever I have these celebrations, he's on board now. He doesn't question them. But now he initiates and he'll say, babe, let's go do this. And I'll be like, well, what are we doing that for? Well, we just had a great week this week, you know, this, and this. And so it is awesome. So I definitely acknowledge and have noticed that change, because it was always so funny to me, the fact that he felt like, what are we celebrating? And now he gets the party started. So my number 5 that I changed about myself, which is kind of weird. This one is kind of a thing that I changed in reverse of how I was. So I explained earlier how I used to be, you know, I am woman, hear me roar, I'm dominant, no one's gonna walk all over me. And so of course, entering into our marriage, I already recognized those things about me and felt like I needed to become a little softer and I needed to start making changes in that direction. But I went a little too hard in the very beginning and felt like the only way to be a good wife was to be like the Leave It to Beaver, June Cleaver. He comes home, dinner's on the table, the house is perfectly clean. I have on my dress and my pearls. I mean, I was almost that bad, but I was miserable. I mean, that's like not my thing. I'm not a housewife, but that happens sometimes in the pendulum swing. You go from one extreme to the other until you finally hit the middle. And that's what I had to change about myself. I had to realize that, yeah, there were some things about me where I had to kind of, you know, smooth out the edges and not necessarily be so rigid on things. But I didn't also then have to turn into this person that I didn't even recognize. And so now I've gone through the whole process, and what I've changed about myself is realizing that I don't have to put so much effort into it. I just need to be me. He married me for me. And that's a conversation that we had when I kind of went to him one day exhausted and unhappy, and I'm just like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep, you know, being this housewife and working and I did all the laundry. I folded his clothes. I cooked. And he was like, I was wondering why you were doing that. I thought you were happy doing it. I didn't get it. Like, I am perfectly capable. He said, but I didn't want to step in if it was something that you enjoyed, but chill out. And so I have changed that about myself. I am me. You know, when I want to do all the laundry, I do all the laundry. But when I need him to do his own laundry, I'm like, dude, you need to do your laundry. Yeah. When I need him to empty the dishwasher, I realize it doesn't make me less of a wife because my husband helps do some things around the house. I love to cook. I cook almost every day. But some days I don't feel like it. And guess what? On the days I don't feel like it, I don't. We'll either go out or maybe I'll make a little something home and just let him know, hey, if you don't want to eat salad tonight, pick something up. Where before I thought, that is a horrible wife. I can't make him have to fend for himself for dinner. But it's fine. He's a grown man. And so I've changed that about myself, and I'm not so tired. I'm not so cranky. But I was making myself miserable trying to do what I thought I was supposed to do as a good wife. But what I would want to say to anyone, being a good wife is just being the wife that your spouse loves and appreciates. There is no cookie cutter of this is what you want to do. This is what you have to do. You just have to be the spouse that your spouse needs. Period. That's
right. Just be who you are and go from there, because so many times, you know, it's something we talked about before when men and women are dating, how men will wine and dine and do all those things. Then once you get married, things slow down, things change up. Well, you got to remember, she married the guy that was whining and dining her, bringing her flowers, showing her that he loved her, showing her appreciation, showing her that she was the center of his world. And now when she got married, that guy changed back to just being regular.
Right.
And we can't do that. And that's part of why we talked about these lists today and some things that we changed. But it's a lot of, I want to be the guy that she married. I don't want to be some other guy. So I want to be the guy that wined and dined her, that showed her how much I love her, that was intentional about my activities and what I do for her. You know, to show that I can put her first, I can listen to her, I can show empathy and be compassionate to her needs. And, you know, if something's going on with her, it's going on with me. If somebody upsets her, they upset me. So.
And that's another thing, too, that was so funny when I turned into the June Cleaver, Edith Bunker type of wife. He's like, that's not the lady I married. Like, I loved your tenacity. I loved, the way you were just, would go after things. You were such a go-getter. And he's like, and now you're just here in the house cooking and clinking, as Medea would say. And he's like, and I was wondering what happened, because again, he wanted that chick he met. Like, yeah, I love the businesswoman in you. I love the fact that, you're not just about just being in the home and whatever. He's like, we can take care of this stuff together, but I need you to really focus on the things that you do best, because that's what attracted me to you. And when I tell you, it was such a relief, because I'm like, because who is tired is me, and who is miserable. I don't like to clean up. And so that's the thing. But I used to feel guilty if he would have to pick something up behind me or tell me, like, I'm not one. I come in the house, I take my shoes off wherever I took them off. That's where they are. I set my purse somewhere, whatever. But I was always making sure everything was wherever. And so now it's just like, we do it together. And if I have 3 pair of shoes under the kitchen table, he's just like, babe, you gonna get your shoes? And I'm like, oh, all right, I'll get them. But it works for us.
Yes.
So anyway, guys, this has been fun for me. I hope it has been fun and enlightening for y'all. When I say these are things that we have not really discussed, that is the absolute truth. So this is going to be some conversation for us probably for the rest of the day, just taking a deeper dive into some of these things, because I'm sure we both heard some things today that we hadn't heard before. And so what I would love is to interact with you all. And if you're newly married, or even if you've been married in a while, drop in the comments some of the things that you've changed since you've become a new married person, or some of the things that you've changed as a seasoned married person, because I can imagine as time goes on, we all grow and things change. So we'll continue to change some things about each other. And it's an awesome thing, because you are a team and you want to complement each other. So go ahead and drop those things in the comments. Also, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can be a part of the Hallway Tribe. And then hit that notification bell so that you never miss an episode of The Hallway. And so until next time, I'm Stay Hall.
And I'm Wallace Hall.
And we'll see you in the hallway.